And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Houston Texans edition. And yes, we will be talking about the 4 greatest Houston Texans or their Mount Rushmore. I know it's hard to believe they even have a Mount Rushmore, but we'll do our best. So, Drew, let's get us started. Who is your number 4 on the Texans Mount Rushmore?
My number 4 is DeAndre Hopkins.
He's also my number 4.
He's my number 3.
He's my number 3.
Not on my list.
Well, we almost went unanimous with our first guy. All right, Drew, what you got?
5-time Pro Bowl, 5-time All-Pro. He's got 10,581 yards and 68 touchdowns so far in his career. I think he played 7 years in Houston. Obviously, he's not with them anymore, but for their franchise being so short, they've only been around for like 20 years. He's one of their greatest players. I mean, in his 7 years with them, he almost had probably 9,000 yards receiving. So
Yeah, he had, in his 7 seasons in Houston, he had 8,600 yards and 54 touchdowns.
and he was definitely one of the best receivers in the league. And he probably still is when he's healthy and stuff.
Well, he's suspended right now for steroids. So.
Yeah.
But he did lead the NFL in touchdowns one year while in Houston. He had 5,000 yard seasons while in Houston, playing with, for most of that, below average quarterbacks.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, he did play with Watson for 2 years?
I think so.
Probably.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he came around after Schaub, so we're looking at like whoever's between Schaub and Watson.
Well, Brock Osweiler was there for a year.
There's a lot of shitty quarterbacks.
I can't even remember all the guys that ran out.
Yeah.
Mallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Mel.
For a couple games.
Yeah. He is I almost left him off my list, to be honest with you, because I do believe talent-wise he is one of the greatest for this franchise, but I was really struggling because I have another receiver on my list.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I want to put 2 receivers? And, he was only there 7 years, but like Drew said, they've only been a franchise for 20, so, it's hard to be a long-time Texan.
Yeah. It's slim pickings.
Yeah, so.
He didn't really want to leave, I don't think. They just
Well, they traded him, yeah. It
they
wasn't
just
like he
traded him for nothing.
Yeah, what was it? It was
David Johnson and a
David
pick.
Johnson and a pick, yeah. And it wasn't even like a good pick, was it? It wasn't like a mid-round pick?
Yeah. Texans got bamboozled.
That's what's his name? O'Brien?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got canned shortly after that, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right. Well, does anybody else have anything to add on old DeAndre Hopkins?
Not really.
All right. Wade, do you have a 4 left?
Yeah.
Who's your number 4, sir?
I put Dwayne Brown, the left tackle.
He was the guy I argued with whether he'd be my 4 or Hopkins.
Yeah.
And
I took a hard look at
I
Dwayne
looked
Brown,
at,
too.
I looked at Dwayne.
And he's got first career, 5 Pro Bowls, 3 total All-Pros, 1 is first team, 2 are second team. A lot of that came with the Texans. 4 of his 5 Pro Bowls, I believe, came with the Texans. His first team All-Pro came with the Texans, and 1 of his second team All-Pros came with the Texans. He was the staple of their offensive line during their first ever really run of playoff success. Like getting to the playoffs, not winning. But they've never really won very much in the playoffs.
I think they've won 1 game in the playoffs.
Yeah, but he was there for a long time and was blocked for probably their best teams, outside of maybe 1 or 2 Deshaun Watson years. But yeah, he was there for the Foster and Schaub and Johnson years, I believe.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Or at least part of it.
He was in Texans from 08 to 17. So
I just can't
Should be
remember how
faster.
early Schaub and Johnson, those guys, started.
Yeah, I can't either.
We'll find out in a few minutes. But
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so nobody else had Brown?
No.
No.
He's a solo guy for you, Wade, but he really was super
Yeah,
close to making my
I
list.
did. Hard look
I
at him,
thought
too.
about him.
He was almost my 4 instead of Hopkins. So, all right, Uncle Doug, you have a 4 left.
Yep, I do.
Who do you have, sir?
Arian Foster.
He's my number 3.
I do not have Foster on my list.
I do not either.
Foster's my number 2.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Yeah. For a short period of time, he was a really good running back. He ended up with 6,500 yards, 54 TDs. He was the rushing leader for a year. He was also the all-purpose yard leader for a year. 4 Pro Bowls, a couple All-Pros. And was he not also the running back in the movie Draft Day?
Yeah. It
Was he?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was him.
He's the running back in that movie as well.
I never put that together, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if I'm picturing the right guy in my head, I'm pretty sure.
I think it is, but
He just
anyway.
he just burst onto the scene, and it was like, okay, he comes in as a rookie. He doesn't really play. He's not, you don't see nothing out of him. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'll lead the NFL in rushing my second year in the league and the NFL in touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he follows that up with 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, then 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns, leads the league again. And then it's like, oh, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and has 1,200 yards, and then he's hurt and it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh.
So a lot of teams he probably wouldn't have made my list. But
Yeah.
The
the
Texans.
Texans, because of their short history.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of liked Arian.
Yeah.
All right. Ray, you got anything to add, buddy?
When you think of the beginning of the Texans teams, that's probably the name that comes up most often is Arian Foster. So, yeah.
All right. Well, who has a 4 left? Oh, Ray does. Ray, who's your 4?
Super Mario Williams, defensive end. He started all 82 games in Houston. He's at probably like 250, I think, tackles, 53 sacks, 1 defensive touchdown, 4 Pro Bowls, and an All-Pro for the 82 games that he was in Houston. So instead of just loading it up with offensive players, I thought at least spotlight one defensive player that put in work in 82 games. So,
I have 2 defensive players on my list.
oh, wow, that's the only one I got on mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
This is like Mean Joe Green stuff right here.
Might be.
All right. I will say this: Mario Williams is not on my list. He did get consideration. It came down to me is when I think of Mario Williams, I picture him in Buffalo.
That's where I was
That's
as
just
well.
kind of the way it went for me. He was a good player.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very good. How is his time split between
It's 6 years and 4 years.
Okay.
And then 1 year in Miami.
Yeah, 1 year in Miami.
Okay.
Wasn't he a former first overall pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, anybody else? You have anything else to add on Mario Williams?
No.
All right. Is that everybody's number 4?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who has a 3 left?
This guy.
I do as well. Is that it?
Yeah.
Just the 2 of us?
Yeah.
All right. I haven't named one yet, so I'll go ahead and name one real quick. My number 3 is Brian Cushing,
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I looked at Brian Cushing.
who's a defensive player, by the way, Ray.
Oh, really? I would have never thought.
Here's my thing. There are better players than Brian Cushing, but mainly because he's a psychopath, he's so widely recognized. And he comes to mind fairly quickly for me when I think of the Texans. And he is not just some crazy guy. He is their all-time leader in tackles. So
Which is crazy. It's only like, what?
664.
and something.
yeah, 664.
It's insane.
He did win Defensive Rookie of the Year and made a Pro Bowl and a All-Pro team. So
For a short period there, he was the linebacker. I mean, he was crazy good.
and crazy.
Yeah, and crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I can picture him with the blood running down his face in my head, just very clear as day.
And then once the injuries started,
Yes.
it was just over.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I mean, he goes his rookie season. He has 133 tackles and 4 sacks,
That's
yeah,
and then he comes in his second year. He misses 4 games, but still has 76 tackles. He comes back the next year, has 114 tackles and 4 more sacks, and then the decline starts. He's injured. And then he comes back and plays a decent amount of games and has 72 tackles and has 110 tackles. And then he's injured.
yeah.
And you're like, well, okay.
I think he missed like 40 games in his career. What was
Yeah.
it, 9 years, 8 years?
Yep, 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years. Like I said, he's their all-time leading tackler. I didn't look and see where he's at on their sack list. He doesn't have a ton of sacks for his career, but he also has a touchdown, Ray.
Got a safety.
That's great stats. That's great criteria.
Mm-hmm. He has 8 career interceptions, 9 forced fumbles. So, yeah. This one's more of a fan favorite, really popular type thing, more than just straight stats. But at the same time, we don't have a ton of great players for the Texans. So,
Yeah.
no.
All right. Well, Ray, you still got 3 left.
I do.
Who you got, buddy?
Andre Johnson.
He is my number 2.
He's also my number 2.
He's my number 2.
He's my number 2.
All right. So we have a unanimous.
All right.
do.
Well, I'll write that down.
Andre's on the list.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be.
He's got 14,000 yards.
And over 1,000 receptions with
70,
some awful quarterback play.
70 touchdowns.
I mean,
Like I've beat a dead horse over and over. Receivers are backlogged.
yeah.
He had 2 seasons where he led the NFL in catches, 2 seasons where he led the NFL in yards. He led the NFL in yards a game 3 times.
How long did he play for?
12 years in Houston, and then 1 year in Indy and 1 year in Tennessee.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, he was. He's in the Texans Hall of Fame, which a lot of the guys we've talked about already are not. But he was the original Texans Ring of Honor
Yeah.
member.
I can still picture him in that defensive back for the Titans.
Cortland Finnegan. He
Yeah.
fucked him up.
Yes, he
He
did.
beat his ass.
And Cortland
Yeah.
Finnegan had it coming.
He did.
Yes, he
he
did.
really did.
Like that was Finnegan's whole thing. He was a quality defensive back, but his big thing was he just messed with you. He would get late hits. He would push you and bump you and shove you after the play. Talk all the time. He'd try and get under your skin and get you out of your game. And Andre Johnson has had enough. And Andre Johnson's like 3 times the size of Cortland Finnegan. So
I remember
He
that.
uppercut punched him in the face at one point, and it is so hard. And I mean, a lot of athletes that can't really fight very well,
mhm.
but Andre Johnson clearly can.
Yeah.
He whooped the shit out of him. It was, woof.
Good old Andre.
He was good.
Oh, yeah, he
Very
was great.
good.
I mean, really, outside of 2 or 3 good Matt Schaub seasons, he had below average to maybe league worst quarterback play throughout his whole career, in his prime anyway.
Yeah.
And still puts up almost 14,000 yards and over 1,000 receptions. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if he spends his career with a great quarterback: Manning, Brady, Rodgers, Breeze. I mean,
You don't even have to be an all-time great. If he could have just went and played with a good quarterback.
play with
Ryan or something.
Play with like a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look what Kirk Cousins does for Justin Jefferson and Adam
Yeah.
Thielen every year.
Yeah. But I mean,
Mhm.
outside of those couple Matt Schaub seasons, it was bad.
Mhm.
Bad.
Well, and he was pretty much all they had. So
Yeah.
he was getting double
Double,
coverage
yeah.
And lit up by safeties.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the time, and still putting up great numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was one of those guys. He was good at everything too. He wasn't just a deep threat or just like a slot guy. He was very physical. He was athletic. He was fast. He went over the middle, went deep.
He is their all-time leader in all 3 receiving categories, by the way.
I'd imagine.
Yeah. Although he only has 70 touchdowns. His touchdown numbers are not like real big like his other 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 70 is not like, oh my gosh, that's terrible, but it's not super, super impressive either.
It's the other 2 that are super impressive.
Yeah. Hopkins almost caught him in touchdowns, but he's not close to him in the other two.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got our first unanimous player in Andre Johnson.
All right.
Yeah.
We got 6 guys so far. Who? That all our 3s?
Yeah.
Does anybody have a 2 left?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
And well, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask Ray, who's your 1?
The controversial quarterback for the Browns.
Oh,
Oh,
Deshaun
Deshaun.
Watson.
Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson. Okay.
Well, what you got to say about Deshaun Watson?
Well, he only played there 4 years, but he did make a humongous impact, besides other things. We won't get into that. They done talk that dead horse in the grave. He's got 14,539 passing yards, 104 touchdowns, with a passing completion rate of 67.8 in a 4-year span. So I thought, I mean, he dominated 4 years in Houston. I don't know why I wouldn't put him at first. I mean, I know who you guys are going to say your first is, so might as well just go ahead and say that.
Well, I will say I considered putting a quarterback on my list, but it wasn't Deshaun Watson. I considered putting Matt Schaub on my list.
Well, he was a consideration too.
He's their
But-
all-time leader in all the passing categories.
But how long?
And
did
he had a
play
winning
there?
and he had a winning record in Houston, which I wasn't expecting.
That's unusual in Houston.
But
One of the things with Deshaun is one of his last good memories, is him blowing a 24-0 lead against the Chiefs
yes,
before
Yes.
everything went haywire.
yes.
Before the dumb trades, and we all know the rest by now.
Hey, here's my
Yeah.
thing. I don't blame the guy for asking out. He asked out before all the legal trouble. Like, the legal trouble came right
Right
after that.
Yeah.
Which at the time I was like, this is fishy. Like, he asked to be traded, and then all the women in Houston are like, hey, he did this. And then it
Yeah.
kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I was like, So I don't know what
Yeah.
happened with all that, but anyway, Watson does have a nice start to his career there. I mean, he has 3 really nice years. So yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take it that the rest of our number 1s is J.J. Watt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Old J.
By the way, with Deshaun Watson, I had to scroll a long ways down his Google page to get his Pro Football Reference page to come. And it was a lot of other things above that.
Yeah, I bet.
Old JJ.
Oh, yes. All right, so we have the 5-time Pro Bowl, 5-time All-Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's in the All-2010s team. He also won a Walter Payton Man of the Year. Not that has anything to do with football necessarily. He has 102 sacks in his career. And 101 of them have come in Houston. He had 1 sack in Arizona. He has 25 forced fumbles. He has 2 interceptions. He also has, or not, did I mess that up? No, he has 2 interceptions, and he returned both of them for touchdowns.
He also has a receiving touchdown, I think.
And I think he might have a rushing touchdown too. I'll get down to that in a second. He also has over 500 career tackles. He has almost 200 tackles for loss, which is a big number. And he has almost 300 QB hits. I don't know if that's impressive or not, but that seems like a big number.
I feel like that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. It's so weird because we have all these advanced stats for him, but we can't compare him to anybody else.
Right, because he's played all of his career after 2010. So,
Right.
we have a ton of cool stats on him.
Like Lawrence Taylor, we can't even look at tackles,
Right,
which
right.
is nuts.
He also has a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So, yeah, there's his defensive stats. He has 3 receptions for 4 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. that one year they were trying to get him, I think, the MVP.
Yeah.
And so they played him some on offense and threw him some touchdown passes.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, not a bad little thing there. 3 catches for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
that works.
Speaking of the MVP, he did come in second in MVP voting one year. I don't know who won, but I can look. Aaron Rodgers won.
Oh,
Not too much of a shocker. Then.
Ray's favorite player.
yeah, that bitch.
Rodgers had 4,300 yards and 38 touchdowns with 5 picks, so he had a pretty nice season there. And Watt had 20 sacks and 59 tackles and 1 interception and 3 receiving touchdowns.
Hmm.
The one thing I didn't look at, which I'm pretty sure he was pretty dominant at for a while, is pass deflections.
Yeah, there was always highlights of him swatting stuff down.
Yeah, he has
at the line.
63 career pass deflections. He had 16 in one season.
Yeah, one of his nicknames is like JJ SWAT. I'm pretty sure.
J.J. Swat, yes, and the Milkman are his.
The milkman.
Yes.
If Javion Clowney would have ended up being as good as he was supposed to be, him and J.J. Watt would have done some damage.
They would have wrecked the league.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know how bad that would have been for Andrew Luck?
He retired even earlier. Probably. But I mean, Clowney ended up being a solid, good player, but he's never even had 10 sacks in a season.
No.
I think I actually have it pulled up. Hang on. Yeah, he's still never had 10 in a season. And with Houston, it's 9, 9.5, 6, 4.5, and a 0. Well, that first year he barely played, but yeah. I mean, I think he was good against the run there for a little bit, but he just never turned out to be a superstar.
Yeah.
Was he number 1 overall too?
Did he go 1?
Because he came out of like South Carolina. or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, I mean, and he was
He's
really
the one
dominant in
that
South
made
Carolina.
the just crazy, insane hit in that bowl game.
Well, yeah, because
His stock went way up.
they said it was first down and it wasn't. It was like this far from the thing. The ref points, and they all freak out. Like I think that was one of the last years. Who was the South Carolina coach that used to be? Oh, what's his name? But they're all freaking out on the sideline.
Spurrier or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
Steve,
yeah.
Steve Spurrier, and he loses it. He throws his visor and stuff, and then the next play, like Javion Clowney hits the guy's helmet off, and
Like 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Like
Yeah.
he takes the ball and gets killed.
Yeah,
Like
he
it's just blown up.
it was crazy.
In the opposite direction, J.J. Watt wasn't. I mean, like super highly touted coming out of college.
You go to
was just-
Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin. He was just he might be a good player. You know, he's a solid athlete, and then just turned into like one of the greatest defensive ends ever. Like, just a complete monster, destroying the league for 3 or 4 years there. No, Drew's showing the play where they gave him a first. They're measuring and they give him a first down. It's not.
Spurrier's going nuts. There's before he can even get the
Dude,
ball.
that's like 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's nuts.
Look,
Oh my
there's the ball.
goodness.
You can see from across the room that he was short. And then
Yeah, that's just.
How many guys have multiple 20-sack seasons, you think?
One.
You think JJ's the only one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be.
trying to think. Did Reggie have?
I said Reggie'd be the only one that might. Strahan didn't, did he?
I don't think so.
think Strahan
And I
did.
don't think Bruce Smith.
No, Bruce didn't.
Reggie's the only other one that might have.
What about your guy from the Jets?
No, I don't think he had multiple 20s.
What about the other guy from the Jets?
Well, there's been a lot more. There's been a lot more 20-sack seasons than I thought there was. By the
Oh.
way, there has been 18 of. Or no, wait. There's been way too many. I don't know. 22. There's been 22.
20 sack seasons, really? Wow, I didn't know that.
DeMarcus Ware, Derek Thomas, Harvey Martin,
I
Mark
remember Harvey
Gastineau,
Martin.
multiple J.J. Watts, Lawrence Taylor, Klecko Katkavage. I don't even know who that is. Aaron Donald, Reggie White, Chris Dolman, Deacon Jones, Coy Bacon. I don't know who that is either.
Him.
Another Deacon Jones. So Deacon Jones has 3.
Okay.
Justin Houston, Mark Gastineau, that's his second. Jared Allen, T.J. Watt, Michael Strahan, Alan Baker. Alan Baker has more than everybody in the season. He has a single season record, it says here, but that's not true.
That's the unofficial one. And then you go to the official leaders.
Oh,
Probably
what the
almost
hell?
most of
Ray,
those-
why did you point that out sooner, Drew?
Well, I didn't realize that you said Deacon Jones. I'm like, Deacon Jones is not on the official list.
Okay, so if we go to the
official.
official list, there's only 13 of them.
Okay.
DeMarcus Ware, Derek Thomas, back-to-back J.J. Watts, Lawrence Taylor, Aaron Donald, Reggie White, Chris Dolman, Justin Houston, Mark Gastineau, Jared Allen, T.J. Watt, and Michael Strahan. So Watt is the only one to officially do it,
Have 2. Yeah.
although it says Deacon Jones did it 3 times on the unofficial list.
And that Harvey Martin you mentioned, that's somebody I was kind of surprised we didn't talk about during the Cowboy episode. He was a really good defensive lineman for the Cowboys.
All right. Well, that wraps that part up. Well, we have 8 guys, one of which is already on the list. Andre Johnson.
I was not expecting to have 8 guys
Yeah,
to talk
me either.
about.
I wasn't either. I didn't
Yeah.
think there was 8 guys good enough. But
And one of them's not Matt Schaub either.
that's true. That's true.
And I had 8 guys that I looked stats up and stuff for, so. Somebody picked every one of the guys I looked at.
Well, I looked at all of these guys. Some of them I
Yeah.
didn't. A couple of them I didn't take super seriously, but I did look at all these guys, and I also looked at Schaub, and I looked at a center. They had a center.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember.
I
his
know who
name.
you're talking about. Yeah, I saw it was a center.
They used to have a good tight end back in the day. Owen Daniels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was good for a nice little run. He was there, I think, with Schaub and Johnson and Foster.
I believe you're right. Yeah. I mean, Schaub led the league in passing one year. Like Schaub had, like Wade said, a few really nice
Right.
seasons there.
Till the playoffs, he choked it up big time.
But he has their only playoff victory in franchise history.
I thought Deshaun got one.
Yeah, Deshaun got
Oh,
one.
did Deshaun get
Yeah,
one?
he beat the Bills that one year.
Yeah.
And then they lose
He
to
won
the
the first
Chiefs.
round, and that was it.
Yeah, then they lose to the Chiefs.
So he has half of their playoff victories.
Because the
right?
Texans have never been to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the Jaguars have done it 3 times. Think about
Yeah, the
that.
Jaguars have had decent. They've had one-hit wonders a bunch. Like,
Yeah, just blow up for a year
They had
and
a-
then it's over.
which I'm sure we'll talk
Imagine
about.
if they
We'll
had
talk
someone
about that
besides Blake
soon.
Bortles in that one year. They probably would have won the Super Bowl.
That team,
Which, I
that
mean-
team was loaded.
Which, I mean, Bortles actually didn't play terrible.
He was all right. But
Yeah.
The thing, Blake Bortles, you need to do with him like you need to do with Mitchell Trubisky. You're familiar with that, Drew. Is you can't just sit him in the pocket and expect him to beat you.
No.
It's I mean, I'm not comparing them as players, but I mean, kind of like Lamar Jackson. You can't say stay in the pocket and beat these teams. He can't do it.
They can
And neither
move.
can Trubisky, and neither can who are we talking about?
Bortles.
Bortles. He can't do it. Neither one of those guys are the freak athletes like
Right.
Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying they are,
But they can move.
But they're best when they're out running around.
Yeah.
It gets people open. It makes an easier decision for them. It makes the linebackers
Yeah.
come up and tackle them,
Mm-hmm.
and that leaves the receiver open right behind them, or they don't, and they can run for 10 yards.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be like design runs. Just bootleg them.
Mm.
Get them out moving, and they think less. I think
Well, it takes-
Trubisky a lot gets in his own head.
Well, it's a lot easier because it takes away half the side of the field, so all you're looking at is one side.
Yeah,
Because when you're rolling out, you don't look backside.
right. Except for when you're Patrick Mahomes, apparently, because he makes those throws
well,
all the
Tyreek
time.
Hill's gone, so that might
Yeah,
change.
Tyreek's gone.
All right. Well, we've got 8 guys. One's already on, so we have 7 guys for 3 spots. I think the obvious place to start here is Ray. Why didn't you put J.J. Watt on your list?
Actually, I think I just overlooked him.
Just
You
forgot to
totally-
research
You
him or
overlooked
whatever?
his
No,
3
'cause-
defensive players of the year.
No, because I looked up the list, and I guess it must just cross my mind that he wasn't on the list I was looking at, and that's not what I put down. But no, yeah, I'm totally cool with Watt if we got to put Watt on. which is the way it's looking like.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Because when you said I really needed a defensive player, I was like, what? Like, I was so dumbfounded when you said that.
Yeah, like after you guys said that, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm a fucking dummy for not putting him on there.
And we've all missed.
Yeah.
Over the last
Yes.
couple of years, we've all missed somebody.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It happens.
But it is what it is, and we'll put him on the list.
All
There
right.
you go.
So now we have 2 guys on, and we have 6 guys for 2 spots.
Well, first, don't we have to kick one of Ray's guys off?
Yeah, we'll take.
You want Mario or Deshaun?
Gosh. Well, I don't know. That's a tough one. How many had Hopkins? Let me ask that one first.
I had Hopkins.
Everyone but you with me.
Everyone with you. Yeah.
Everybody with me. Okay, so there's 4 for that one. And how many had Dwayne Brown?
Just me.
Just a Uno. Okay.
There's a lot of ones up there, don't we?
Yeah.
Watson or Mario?
Man. I'll take Williams off.
All right, Mario
Okay.
Williams.
Williams is gone. Then there were 7.
10-7. Jesus.
All right. Well, so we have another 4 up here. Unfortunately, we're pointing at Ray again. So, Ray, what do you think about old DeAndre Hopkins?
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty solid pick. How many years did he play there?
7.
7.
7.
7 of the 20 years they've been around.
And he's like a 5-time Pro Bowler, 6-time or something like that.
And 5-time All-Pro.
5-time
Yeah.
Pro Bowl, 5 All-Pro.
10,000 receiving yards already.
So let's see. Do I want to give up Watson for Hopkins?
He's second all time in receiving yards and touchdowns in franchise history. Obviously, Andre Johnson has those.
I don't know if I want to give up Watson till early in the game here.
All right, we can come back.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So I guess our next highest vote is Arian Foster, which is Uncle Doug and who?
Ray.
I have Arian Foster.
Oh, so there was 3 of us.
Oh,
Okay. Roger.
My bad. So, okay, so 3 people had Foster. So Wade and I don't have Arian Foster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dwayne Brown and Foster, they're all pros and Pro Bowls are almost identical. I can give up Dwayne Brown for Foster. I don't care.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm not that. I don't care about the Texans. It's fine.
Okay. So, roger that. We will take Mr. Brown down. All right.
So you got to put a 4 next to Foster then, I
4
guess?
next to Foster.
Alex is smiling. I think he sees the writing on the wall.
All right. So, Hopkins, Foster.
Well, Ray,
It's like Hopkins
I'll
and
get.
Foster.
I'll say. I'll take Cushing off if you'll take Watson off.
Our new favorite
That's a
game.
deal. We can do a deal
Our
on
new
that.
favorite game.
Yeah,
let's
that's
make
a
a
deal.
deal.
Let's make a deal.
So
It's like a new
White,
segment.
Johnson, Foster, and Hopkins.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's
All
pretty
right,
good
that's
list.
pretty. Those are
Yeah.
4 solid players.
That's my list.
I'm 1 off, but
It's
yeah.
my list.
3 of them should end up in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Andre should already
J-
be in.
JJ's a guarantee. Andre, like you said, Andre Johnson should already be in. Hopkins, as long as his career doesn't end abruptly,
Right.
should probably be in.
Yeah.
So it's really not that bad.
No.
Yeah.
They'll have 3 Hall of Famers.
Foster was a Hall of Fame talent.
He started
Yeah.
started off
Yeah.
that way.
It's just such
Yeah,
a
if he
short
could have
career.
done it for 10 years.
Yeah, if he did it for 10 years, he'd probably have 15,000 yards.
Yeah. Well, I really feel like JJ and Andre will be on the Texans list for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other 2 may slide off.
Well, there's
Yeah.
there's no
Because
one
of
on the
their short
Texans roster
careers,
right now
but-
that's not even close to being on this list.
We'll just have to see.
Oh, I know another player I looked at that I didn't put on my list, but I did look at him, was Jonathan Joseph.
Oh, the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The corner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was good.
He was solid.
He was.
Well, just a recap here. We now have our Houston Texans Mount Rushmore, and they are as follows. Wide receiver, Andre Johnson. Defensive end, J.J. Watt. Wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. And running back, Arian Foster. And that will now end our Houston Texans portion of this episode and move us into trivia. And I assume Drew is ready to go.
I am.
Inbound. Butt hook to the corner. Touch. Oh, fumble. Wade.
I don't know. Was that really a catch?
It was
Yeah.
not a catch.
New York. New York. We got to get alert in New York. New York.
All right. How many teams have not had an NFL MVP?
Oh.
How many teams have not had an MVP, huh?
Damn. That's rough.
That is rough. It's just going to be a blatant number guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got my guess.
My too.
Goodness.
Another dead marker.
We do seem to go through markers.
Yeah.
And they sit for 6 days between uses. I don't know why we
Yeah.
run out of markers so fast.
I'm going to write a bad review on Amazon for these markers. They're going to not like my comment either.
Everybody got an answer?
All right.
Yep.
All right. I said 4.
Okay.
I said 5.
Said 4.
Okay.
I said 16.
Whoa.
6.
Oh, 6. So can you name the teams, Drew? Or do you know?
It's Jaguars, Texans, Cardinals.
The Lions, right? Lions
Barry
are-
Sanders.
Barry.
Oh crap! Sorry.
Let me
My
pull it
bad.
How
up.
about
I'll-
Seattle Seahawks? Have they ever had one?
I can't think.
I can't
of
remember
one.
what.
Sean Alexander, the year he said touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think he did.
Let me pull it up
Yeah,
real quick.
You're right. He did.
What about the Eagles?
I think they have one.
Do they have one?
All right, here we go. The Cardinals, Jaguars, Texans, Saints, Buccaneers, and Jets.
The
Breeze
Jets
has
don't
one?
have one.
No.
I thought maybe one of those early guys,
Yeah.
that had one.
Alexander was the Seahawk one.
Okay.
Trying to think of a team that.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
That was a good question, Drew. I like that question. All right, who'd like to go next?
I can go.
All right.
All right. Jason Taylor is the all-time NFL leader in fumbles returned for a touchdown with 6.
Okay.
Oh boy.
There's 2 players tied for second. Who are they?
I feel like we talked about this during the Dolphins episode because we talked about how many he had.
Yeah. Now I can't think about who the other.
I have no idea though.
Wade, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yes. Jason Taylor is the NFL's all-time leader in fumbles returned for a touchdown. There are 2 players tied for second. Who are they?
I got 2 guesses.
All right, I got a guess. Is that everybody?
No, hold on, because my marker effing
Yeah.
died.
Another one. Oh, probably can't.
Technical issues.
Didn't want to start singing. I didn't know if that was copyright or not.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I was close. I'm surprised I caught myself.
I wouldn't have caught you. I would have let you do it without thinking for a few minutes.
All right, we can go. I'm good.
All right.
You got it, Uncle Doug?
Yeah.
All right, I said Smith and Johnson.
I said Allen and Peppers.
Okay.
I said Herm Edwards and T.J. Watt.
I said Norman and Freeney.
It is Pro Bowlers D'Angelo Hall and Jesse Tuggle.
Okay. I know who D'Angelo Hall is.
Yeah.
I don't know who Tuggle is.
He's a linebacker from the 80s and 90s. He has like
I was-
1,800 tackles.
I was just thinking of pass rushers that would be like strip sacks. That's where I went with it. All right. Who would like to go next?
Well, I can go. I'm next in line.
We're
here.
pitching a shutout so far.
Yeah. Okay. This I think we'll get a point this time. David Carr
Oh boy.
was the Texans' very first draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Where to go to college?
Ah, shit.
Oh, I should know this. I have a really strong feeling about this, but now I'm starting to doubt myself after I wrote it down. But I think I thought I knew.
Crap.
I almost asked what the Texans' first penalty was in the history of the franchise. I won't be quite that tough on them. It was delay of the game, by the way.
Well, I was gonna say false start, so
I was gonna say holding.
So
I have an answer, by the way.
Yep.
Oh, I should know this. Where's the David Carr?
you know me in colleges. I like college.
You haven't done it in so long.
I wrote one down.
All right, I gotta guess.
Is that everybody?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm. I said Fresno.
I said Cincinnati.
Fresno.
I said Texas A&M.
It's Fresno State.
Woo! Bang bang.
Yep.
Wade takes his lead back.
It was inevitable.
I'll raise up, so Drew's gonna get a point. So.
All right. Here we go. Everybody ready for this one?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Since 1982, only one quarterback has been sacked more times than Tom Brady. Who is it?
So, like in a season or over their career? I would assume career. Since
Yeah.
I wrote a guy down.
I got an answer.
I got an answer.
Damn it. Okay.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
I said Favre.
Said David Carr.
But Vinny Testaverde.
I said David Carr.
The correct answer is Mr. Ben Roethlisberger.
I almost said Roethlisberger because I was just thinking of guys that played for a ridiculously long period of time.
And he had a bad offensive line for a good part of that.
Yeah. That was a good question, Ray.
That is a
Thank
good
you.
question.
Thank you.
Is it just me now?
I think so.
All right. Mine's pretty straightforward. Who did the tech?
Alexa, be quiet.
Why does it keep doing that?
I don't know. I think this apartment.
We didn't even say my name this time, did we?
I don't think so. No, you were talking.
Yeah, it was me talking, so.
Yeah.
All right. The Texans won their very first game. Who'd they beat?
Oh, shit.
Uncle Doug knows. What the heck?
Well, let's see what it is here. We'll go with this.
I'm pretty confident about this one.
All right.
Matter of fact, I think I watched this game.
Oh, really?
Of course.
All right, I got an answer.
I'm not gonna go with their division. I feel like that'd be too easy.
I used to feel so sorry for Carr.
Oh, I know.
He really wasn't bad. He
No, he was a good
destroyed.
quarterback.
Yeah.
He really was. Coming out of college, he was really good.
There's no reason he couldn't have the career his brother had.
Yeah,
Her
he
brother
just
has.
got. I think he's probably better than his brother,
Yeah.
but he just got the crap beat out of him.
He really did.
Well,
Nuts.
so did Joey Harrington.
Yeah.
No,
Joey
lots of
Harrington.
guys did. Tim Couch did.
Yeah, Tim Couch.
Lots of guys
Yeah.
did.
I gotta guess. It's gonna be funny if this is right.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
I put the Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh. The Rams.
I went to the Rams.
It's the Cowboys.
Yep.
Yep.
I thought it'd be funny as like a joke.
Well, Drew just tied Wade again.
Yeah. How about I got a point? That's good.
You're not too far behind us, are you?
3 or 4.
3.
Gotcha.
All right. After this week's tallies, the scores are as follows. Tied for first place are Wade and Drew with 18. In third place is Uncle Doug with 15. Next is Alex with 7. The guests with 5. And Ray with 4. And we obviously didn't have a guest again. And we don't have a guest for a couple more episodes. So hopefully Alex and Ray can make a move on the guests here. And to get that done. We appreciate you tuning in to listen to our Houston Texans episode. And we would appreciate you tuning in next week for our Jacksonville Jaguars episode. Yes, another team that hasn't been around that long. So thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.